The creators of the animated series Love, Death, and Robots are working on an exciting new project titled Secret Level, which is sure to appeal to gamers. While Love, Death, and Robots focused on showcasing different styles of animation, Secret Level is dedicated to exploring various game worlds. One episode will take us into the fantasy universe of Dungeons & Dragons, another will delve into the mythological setting of God of War, and a third will explore something related to Pac-Man. The fourth episode will be dedicated to Unreal Tournament, the fifth to Armored Core, the sixth to Warhammer 40,000, and so on. The lineup includes classic titles like Mega Man as well as indie hits like Sifu from Spelunky. Attention is also given to online universes, including Honor of Kings and Crossfire, and even single-player RPGs like The Outer Worlds. Expect plenty of 18+ content. This announcement has generated significant buzz among viewers. The trailer on YouTube has garnered 2 million views with almost no dislikes. It's worth noting that game-related content is just as close to Blur Studios' heart as animation itself. You might have seen cinematic trailers created by this team in GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, as well as in Need for Speed Underground, Prototype, and even Dark Souls 2. They've also worked on Halo Wars, Valorant, and the 2 latest Call of Duty games. It's hard to imagine a better studio for the task of creating an anthology series based on game universes. The release is scheduled for December. And hello everyone, you're on the Filmix channel and this is our monthly roundup of the top news from the world of movies and TV shows. So get comfortable and let's dive in. While there's been a huge buzz around Secret Level, the Borderlands adaptation has turned out to be something no one really wanted. The premiere, which took place on August 6th, has so far barely made $25 million in global ticket sales. The film's budget isn't small. While the official figure hasn't been disclosed, various sources estimate it to be between $115 million and $160 million. It's clear the movie won't break even and will be a financial disaster for Lionsgate. Most of the money went towards hiring big-name actors like Jamie Lee Curtis, Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black. But as it turns out, they didn't help. Initially, the adaptation of the famous shooter received a 0% freshness rating on the review aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes. Later, the rating climbed to 10%. The audience score managed to reach 53%. The trailers released before the premiere were far from masterpieces, but there seemed to be a chance for success. In practice, everything fell apart due to a series of poor decisions. Most notably, the choice to target a younger audience seems extremely illogical. Borderlands has a PG-13 rating, meaning it's for kids aged 13 and up, while the original game is an apocalyptic action trash fest, essentially Mad Max on steroids, with a 17+ rating. In the game, enemies are blown to pieces in shootouts, and the Psycho Krieg cuts off enemies' heads with a chainsaw. What on earth made the creators think they could turn such a franchise into a sanitized family movie? Who would that even appeal to? Initially, Craig Mazin, the creator of HBO hits Chernobyl and The Last of Us, was the project's screenwriter. But seeing what the higher-ups were demanding, he quickly stepped back and even requested that his name not be included in the credits. Most of the movie was shot based on his script. However, the influence of lead creators, director Eli Roth and producer Avi Arad, resulted in the exclusion of 2 key characters from the first Borderlands game, Mordecai and Brick. On the other hand, they added Tiny Tina to the story, a character who only appeared in the second part of the shooter. Her backstory was completely rewritten. Meanwhile, General Knox, who was a male villain in the game, was changed to a woman in the film, who is in love with Roland. The main villain, Atlas, is entirely made up. He doesn't exist in the games. When asked why these changes were made, Eli Roth responded that he didn't want to be too slavish to the source material and was trying to tell the story in his own way. But this approach is only irritating the franchise's fans. Many critics have pointed out that the film is filled with blatantly unfunny jokes and poorly edited fight scenes, which obviously doesn't add to its appeal. As a result, it might just be the worst video game adaptation in Hollywood history. The decision to turn Borderlands into a family-friendly movie looks downright foolish, especially considering that Deadpool and Wolverine is simultaneously playing in theaters. This is the first R-rated film in the Marvel Universe, produced by Disney, a company that typically thrives on family movies. They took a risk and released a film filled with violence and drug-related jokes, and it paid off. The movie has already earned over $1 billion, setting a new record for the highest-grossing R-rated film, stealing the last scraps of attention away from Borderlands. The new record holder surpassed the previous leader, Joker, which became the highest-grossing R-rated film in October 2019, with $783 million. Interestingly, Deadpool 2 also had a chance at this title. but its total gross of $785 million included $47 million from a PG-13 version. The film starring Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman hit the billion-dollar mark faster than Joker. However, it's worth noting that Joker was not released in China. Deadpool and Wolverine is now the second highest grossing film of the year, following Inside Out 2, which is also a Disney film. But let's get back to the failures. On August 21st, a film titled The Crow was released. This is a remake of the 1994 action movie of the same name, during the filming of which actor Brandon Lee tragically died. British director Rupert Sanders aimed not to remake everything exactly as before, but to present the main character in a new light. The lead role was given to the undeniably talented young actor Bill Skarsgård, who did a commendable job, but everything else is a complete mess. It seems like Rupert Sanders didn't really understand what he was working on or why. Previously, he directed Ghost in the Shell and failed to capture the spirit of the animated original. With The Crow, he decided to stray as far as possible from Alex Proyas's creation. There are different motives for the crime, a new afterlife, and new villains, painted in broad strokes. While the original film dealt with gangsters and rapists, Sanders' anti-heroes are literal Satanists. As a result, a mystical guardian angel character was introduced into the plot, played by French actor Sami Bouajila. If we recall James O'Barr's original comic, it followed the popular sexist trope of the woman in the refrigerator, where a female character is sacrificed to advance the main plot. Proyas's adaptation inherited many of these traits, turning Eric Draven into an eternal martyr with revenge as the film's central theme. Rupert Sanders took a completely different path and made a sentimental fairy tale about the love between Shelley and Eric, and he did it poorly. In the plot, a girl turns herself into the police for possession of illegal substances. To escape from a chase, she ends up in a secluded clinic where she meets Eric, a man covered in tattoos from head to toe. Sparks fly instantly between them. He's shy and scared, while she's bold and always defies the rules. Together, they escape and move into the house of Shelley's friend, where they start drinking, taking drugs, getting tattoos, and having sex. They constantly spout cheesy lines like, "Love is eternal, baby," and "If you jump into the cold water, I'll freeze right after you," and swear that they've never felt this way before. It's hard to believe that this is the kind of deep, genuine love that could bring Eric back from the dead. Most viewers agree that when watching the new film, you can't help but compare it to the original and quickly conclude that the 2024 The Crow is fake in every way. Eric is supposed to evoke sympathy and admiration, but instead, he makes you laugh because he seems like a moody teenager who gets tattoos to spite his mom and writes bad poetry. There's no chemistry between him and Shelley, making the grand speeches about fighting for pure and true love seem ridiculous. Additionally, as many have pointed out, the fight scenes are not only excessively violent, but also monotonous. At times, they're just boring to watch. We're shown scenes reminiscent of John Wick, where the characters take down guards to a cool soundtrack in the most gruesome ways. But was such senseless brutality a part of James O'Barr's original character? And did Alex Proyas's film have this level of unnecessary, over-the-top drama? The answer is obvious, hence the very lukewarm reception, 21% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and 63% from viewers. If you're going to watch fight scenes in the style of John Wick, it's best to do so in John Wick itself. It turns out that the creators of the series are preparing to shoot the 5th installment. According to The Hollywood Handle, filming is set to begin in 2025, with a release possibly in 2026. John Wick 4 earned $440 million worldwide on a budget of $90 million. With such success, Lionsgate isn't ready to retire Wick just yet. Plus, the franchise's creator, Chad Stahelski, still has ideas for 5 more films. In John Wick 4, John Wick dueled with a high-ranking member of the Clan Council, Marquis Vincent de Gramont, played by Bill Skarsgård, who also starred in The Crow. John killed the villain and earned his freedom, though he seemingly died from his injuries. According to a popular theory, Wick's death was staged so he could live a peaceful life. Details about the next installment of John Wick are still unknown. The production is in its early stages, with the script and general details being developed. It's worth noting that Lionsgate had previously tried to start production on John Wick 5. However, in August of that year, Chad Stahelski said that a 5th part would only happen if he and Keanu Reeves came up with an interesting idea, meaning the studio hadn't officially greenlit the film at that time. Meanwhile, Lionsgate's head, Joe Drake, hinted that John Wick 5 was definitely on the horizon. It seems by the summer of 2024, the team found a worthy way to bring John Wick back to life. Additionally, in early August, Lionsgate Television announced the series John Wick: The Continental, which will take place after the events of John Wick 4. There's also a planned film about the assassin Kane from the 4th installment. Director James Cameron stated that he is determined to film the 4th and 5th installments of the sci-fi blockbuster Avatar no matter what. Earlier, the 69-year-old filmmaker had considered the possibility of handing over the director's chair of the upcoming films in the franchise to someone else. However, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he made it clear that he would only be unable to lead the production of the subsequent Avatar films if something happened to him. For example, if he were hit by a bus. "I have a lot of energy, I love what I do, so why not? By the way, the scripts are written, I reread both of them about a month ago. These are amazing stories that need to be filmed. If I'm hit by a bus and end up on life support, then someone else will direct them," said the director. The premiere of the third Avatar film, subtitled The Seed Bearer, is scheduled for December 19th, 2025. The Seed Bearer will begin shortly after the events of the second Avatar, when Jake and Neytiri encounter the Ash People, a Na'vi tribe that, as Cameron hinted, is more prone to violence and power than the other tribes. The fourth installment of the Rush Hour action series may still see the light of day, but the issue hinges on the choice of director. According to journalists from The Hollywood Reporter, the studio Lionsgate is open to the idea of making a new film with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. However, the director of the last three installments, Brett Ratner, has essentially been blacklisted in Hollywood following sexual assault allegations in 2017. Simultaneously, Warner Brothers, which handled the distribution of the previous films, allegedly even considered selling the franchise rights. Ratner's potential involvement in the project has become a stumbling block for further production at various major studios. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are also interested in returning to their leading roles in the new film, but no official offers have been made regarding this. THR notes that a potential fourth installment could indeed be a hit among fans and viewers, especially considering the success of other 90s series sequels like Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop. In theory, the new installment could be released on streaming services as a police action film, but whether this can happen without the original director remains unclear. The first Rush Hour was released in 1998. The plot centered around the kidnapping of the daughter of a Chinese consul in the US Inspector Lee, and the highly energetic detective Carter took on the case. Although they had numerous disagreements, they gradually learned to work together. The sequel was released in 2001, and the third installment came out in 2007. What do you think about the latest events? Share your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate your likes and new subscribers to our channel. Thank you for watching until the end, and we'll catch you in the next video.